The 12 sons of Jacob had 4 different mothers. The first 4 were born to Jacob's first wife, Leah. Rachel, Leah's sister and Jacob's second wife, was envious of the honor that bearing 4 sons brought Leah, so Rachel gave her servant Bilhah to Jacob to produce offspring for her. Bilhah bore 2 sons that Rachel considered her own. The first son Rachel named Dan. The second she named Naphtali. We don't know much about either of them, and the tribes of Israel that descended from them didn't do much to distinguish themselves from their countrymen. The name Rachel chose for each reflected how she felt about her contest against her sister. With Dan, Rachel professed confidence that God was as much on her side as her sister's. With Naphtali, Rachel professed her own arrogance. She explicitly describes the contest born of her own envy and their culture's understanding of the value of a woman. She says, "I have had a great struggle with my sister." And she even dares to claim victory after Bilhah produced 2 sons to Leah's 4. "I have had a great struggle with my sister, and I have won," she says. Naphtali means my struggle. Nice, right? I mean, if you're Naphtali, the best case scenario might be never finding out the story behind your own name. As you grew up being considered the son of your biological mom's boss, the brother of 11 sons, only one of whom has the same mom as you, and the son of a guy named Jacob who apparently was cool with all of that. Speaking of Jacob, he blessed all 12 of his sons with unique and prophetic blessings near the time of his death. Of Naphtali, Jacob said, "Naphtali is a doe set free that bears beautiful fawns." It's the shortest of all Jacob's blessings. Nice, right? I mean, if you're Naphtali, then chances are good that you are like the rest of us and have no earthly clue as to what being a doe that bears beautiful fawns is supposed to mean. Naphtali had 4 sons, at least. I'm sure he thought they were beautiful. But all of Jacob's sons produced offspring, so it's not like that makes Naphtali special. What does? Nothing we know of. His mom's boss considered his birth some kind of victory, but it is not clear at all why. He had 1 full brother and 10 half-brothers and a half-sister. He was the ultimate middle child. His dad's second wife considered him her son. His dad considered him a doe, a deer, a female deer, and I can't make any sense out of any of it. Maybe Moses could. Centuries later, Moses was bidding farewell to the 12 tribes of Israel, and he took a turn blessing them the way Jacob had. About Naphtali, Moses said, "Naphtali is abounding with the favor of the Lord, and is full of his blessing." Which makes me think, I'm being too harsh to Rachel. She named the boy Naphtali, or my struggle, and she claimed a victory in her struggle. I called that arrogance. Maybe it wasn't. Okay, no, it definitely was, but maybe it was also an encouragement. Because Naphtali's struggle would have been to try to see God's favor and blessings in the kind of life that he had. And that was Rachel's real struggle. And it's my struggle. And yours too. You don't get any life except the one you've got. And how much of it is what you would have chosen for yourself? How much of it makes sense? How much of it is special? And how much of it is just struggles? Struggles that come from your envy and your culture and your weird relationship to your family, and the baffling opinion your father has of your value. And maybe the real struggle is just trying to see what it all means. But if centuries later some Moses looks back on the nothing everyone knows about your life and concludes that you had God's favor and blessing, he'll be right. Not in spite of the struggles, because of them. Because in them, God blessed you with the struggle of looking for his favor, looking for his love, and finding it in the Son he sent through this weird, messed up family of Naphtali's, not in spite of their struggles, because of them. Jesus actually spent a lot of time in the land that had once been allotted to Naphtali. He struggled there, but he won everywhere. And ultimately, that's the victory of all our struggles, and Rachel's, and Naphtali's. You and I are dust and breath, loved by God, bought by Jesus. This podcast is written and produced by me, Ethan Cherney, a WELS pastor serving Our Savior Lutheran Church in Pomona, California. Get in touch on Facebook at Dust and Breath Pod, on Twitter at Dust Breath Pod, or by emailing dustandbreathpod@gmail.com. Outro music arranged and performed by Mr. Peter Shawy, who is like a calf, like a young wild ox. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you could leave a review in iTunes or just share an episode on social media, I'd really appreciate it. It's the only way other people can find the show. Now, go do what God made you to do. Be who God called you to be. Go see what God can do with dust and breath and faith in Jesus, his Son.